bouncers, it's Minx, and it's time for another Once Upon a Time review. I actually did this review last night after the episode aired, but unfortunately my audio kind of broke, so didn't get to put it up last night. I'm reshooting it now, hoping you guys dig it, and it's at least as good as it was last night. I'm going to try really hard anyway. So let's jump right in. It was episode 14 of season 5. It starts off with Hook giving Hades the metaphorical finger, and pretty much being like, I ain't choosing who's staying here, you're crazy. And of course that pisses off Hades. And Hades turns around and threatens to throw him into the Green River, which we see has, you know, floaties all over it. And turns out it is the River of Lost Souls. Which is pretty neat. He threatens, pretty much, he strings him up and starts lowering him down, so we're on a time limit now, kids, to save Killian before he is dunked in there like a Dunkin' Donut, and gone forever. We end up getting to see Gold's ex-wife, Milah, who, of course, left him for Killian, and she ends up being the one to help Gold and Emma get to Hook. Because they need someone who's dead to be able to cross some of these magical barriers. They have kind of an interesting discussion, beyond the most awkward introduction ever, when Gold introduces her to Emma. Pretty much, she's banging your man, and she also had a kid with her son, by the way. Emma's face said it all when she was just kind of like, right. So that was kind of a funny moment, kind of screwed up, but funny. So we got that. They had some interesting moments. A lot of the Fairy Tale Land Past stuff was actually Milah and Rumple with a little bit of Killian in there and a smidge of Child Balefire. We actually get to meet a healer named Fendrake, who was actually played by same guy who played Chief Tyrrell on Battlestar Galactica, which is one of my favorite shows ever. And they had his face all tattooed and stuff, and he actually ends up making Rumple a deal, which ends up coming back to bite him in the ass. We also saw what could possibly be the Eye of Fate. If anyone remembers at least the animated feature, or even Percy Jackson, the Fates have the eyeball that they pop in and out and trade around so they can see people's fates. He uses it to create a crystal ball to see. He's trying to look for Balefire, and he ends up getting Belle, which freaks him out a little bit, and we find out why at the end of the episode. So there's a lot of play between Gold and Milah throughout the entire episode. Mostly finding out that her unfinished business was Balefire, and the fact that she realized she was a shit mom and shit on her kid because she hated his dad, which I think is something that happens in a lot of families these days, unfortunately. A lot of people don't end up treating their kid rougher than they mean to, I think. They have kind of a heartwarming moment that ends up ultimately getting ruined by Hades and Rumple being a selfish prick. Hades makes him a deal, and Rumple goes through with it because he just wants to get topside as fast as possible. And he ends up pushing Milah into the River of Lost Souls, which is actually kind of sad because she probably had a good chance of moving on and obtaining that forgiveness from Balefire. Now she'll never get that. So that was kind of sad. Emma kind of had a little homing device almost to Killian. As soon as they pulled up the boat to where they were going, she could feel him. She of course saves him, of course. They have a cute moment. She's holding him, and you know, they're kind of at each other, and it's great. It's adorable. She comes back. Rumple of course fakes that Hades dumped the boat and got rid of Milah instead of it being him, because in many ways he is still a coward. he won't fess up to his own shit. I mean, granted, yeah, he probably would have ended up dunked in there too, but he ends up getting his comeuppance at the end of the episode, which is kind of nice. Also, I don't think he's played with as big of a big boy as Hades, because let's face it, Hades makes deals as well, so he kind of knows his way around that kind of stuff. Let's see. On the side with the rest of the group, there isn't a whole lot going on there. Regina's looking for a specific tombstone. She ends up talking to Cruella, who actually is helpful to her, and hands her a map of, look, this is the cemetery, this is what it is. If it's standing up, those people are here in Underbrook, as Regina so dubbed it. If it's tipped over, then that means they've gone on to a better place. And if it's cracked, well, they're in a bad, bad way. So she elicits the help of Snow White, and they find it. And of course, it's Daniel's. It's Daniel's headstone, and it's tipped over. So he's moved on, and she has this really kind of nice character moment where she's like, you know, I just needed to know you were okay. So that's just kind of a nice moment. So then we go back and excuse me, still a little bit sick, guys, so pardon the pauses here. But yeah, so she has kind of a nice moment, but that's pretty much all of the outside stuff. It was mostly Gold and Milah, pretty much showing how their relationship really fell apart, what drove her into Killian's arms, because up until this point we thought it was just because he was a coward, because he had gotten out of the army by breaking his own bones, breaking his own leg, and that wasn't the entirety of it. There was a lot more strain and stress after that, which was kind of interesting to get to see, and also see how she met Killian. That was cool. The end was brilliant. I loved the end, with Hades pretty much outplaying Rumple, which was awesome, because that doesn't happen very often. He is a very good deal maker, but Hades is awesome. Well, of course, Rumple managed to get the cure for Balefire, because Balefire got bit by a snake. They had to go search out Fendrake. Again, Chief Tyrrell. Well, instead of killing the dude, like Milah wanted, he made a deal with him. Well, he was kind of a schmuck, because he made a deal for his second-born child, which Milah was like, well, I guess I'm never having children. Like, you know, she might have wanted to have more kids. So that was also part of the stress. Well, the thing is, the reason he saw Belle in the crystal ball when he was looking for it, he was trying to look for his kid, aka Balefire, to make sure that he was in Elysium, essentially. Instead, he saw Belle, which is why he freaked out. Belle's pregnant with his kid and doesn't know it yet. Well, guess what? Even though Gold, as the Dark One, went back to kill Fendrake, because, you know, if you're dead, you can't collect a debt. Well, Fendrake, obviously in the underworld, sold the contract to Hades. Hades now owns Gold's ass, and pretty much was like, you're going to work for me. And you're going to start by doing something that only you can do. And end scene. That's where we're left at. We're left at kind of a cliffhanger. Gold is now in Hades' pocket because he's holding his unborn child over his head. And Gold, you're a schmuck. You know, this is what happens when you let power and your thirst for power get ahead of you. A lot of this shit wouldn't have happened if, you know, he hadn't have done that. So, anyways, with that said, that was episode 14. I'm looking forward to next week. I want to see what Hades has in store for Gold. I also want to see more planning on how they're planning on getting out of here. Who are they going to help in the next episode? Are they going to bring Henry as the author out again? You know, are they going to actually, you know, have him do more stuff with Cruella, what's going on with that, because they didn't touch on that at all. We do know that Regina's magic's back, so that could come in handy, or it could hamper, because now we have Regina, Snow, and Emma on the headstones, because, you know, apparently Hades is pissed and he wants them staying. So they can't save Killian by splitting the hearts. That's not going to happen. So they got to come up with something else, and I can't wait to see what else they come up with. So let me know down below in the comments, what did you think of the episode? Did you like the episode? What was your favorite part? I'm going to give this one a B. It wasn't the greatest of episodes. It wasn't the strongest, but there was some really good points to it. With that said, click that red button down there that says subscribe if you like this review, and also check out my other reviews on the channel. I've got other Once Upon a Time, X-Files, Agent Carter, Daredevil Season 2. Check it all out. Let me know what you think. I respond to all comments. See you next week. Later, Oncers.